What happens if your product suddenly goes viral on social media overnight, and your daily orders jump from 100 units to 100,000 units? For most small businesses, this dream scenario quickly turns into a logistical nightmare. If you contact a traditional factory in the West, they will tell you their production lines are booked for the next 3 months. They will ask you to pay a massive deposit, wait in line, and hope they can deliver before your customers cancel their orders. But if you are sourcing from a Chinese industrial village, your factory owner will simply smile, make 3 phone calls, and start shipping your massive order within a few days. This incredible capability is what supply chain experts call an elastic supply chain. It is the ability to stretch production from a tiny test batch to a massive tsunami of products almost instantly, and then shrink back down to zero without breaking. Let us explore the hidden mechanics of how a single Chinese village can scale its production overnight. To understand why this is possible, we have to look at the weakness of traditional large-scale manufacturing. A giant modern factory is like a massive cargo ship. It is highly efficient when it is moving in a straight line, but it takes a long time to turn around. Big factories rely on rigid schedules, expensive machinery setups, and permanent labor forces. If they have to change their machines to produce a small batch of a new product, it costs them thousands of dollars in downtime. They cannot afford to stop their main lines for small, unpredictable orders. But China's manufacturing heart is not made of giant, rigid factories. It is made of a massive interconnected web of thousands of family-run workshops. These micro-businesses are highly agile. They can change their production setup in 30 minutes because their machines are smaller, simpler, and completely under their direct control. But the real magic happens because of how these workshops are clustered together. In China's manufacturing regions, you do not have isolated factories. You have entire villages where every single household produces the exact same product, or the components for that product. If you need custom plastic zippers, there is a village where every garage has a zipper machine, because they are all neighbors, relatives, and lifelong friends. They do not operate like competitors. They operate like a swarm. When one workshop owner gets an order that is too big for his own machines, he does not hire more workers or buy more equipment. That would be too risky and expensive. Instead, he walks down the street, knocks on his cousin's door, and says, "I have more orders than I can handle. Can you run your machines for me tonight?" Within a few hours, 5 or 10 different family workshops are producing the exact same product using the same molds and raw materials. This distributed manufacturing network has one massive financial advantage: zero idle cost. In a traditional corporate factory, if there are no orders, you still have to pay the factory rent, the security guards, the office staff, and the workers' basic salaries. The factory is bleeding money every single day it stands idle. This makes big factories terrified of small, fluctuating orders. But in a Chinese family workshop, if there are no orders, the family simply turns off the machines and goes back to their daily lives. They do not have to pay rent because the workshop is in their own backyard. They do not have to pay salaries because the workers are the family members themselves. This means they can sit at zero production for weeks without losing any money, and then instantly burst into 24-hour production when a big order arrives. Many people assume that this kind of massive coordination must be managed by complex computer software or advanced logistics algorithms. It is not. It is managed entirely by local trust and personal relationships, what Chinese people call guanxi. In these industrial villages, business contracts are rarely written on formal legal documents. They are agreed upon over a cup of tea or a simple phone call. If a workshop owner promises to help his neighbor finish an order by tomorrow morning, he will stay up all night to do it. Because in a small village, your reputation is your survival. If you break your word, no one in the village will ever do business with you again. This social pressure creates a level of execution speed and trust that no legal contract in the West can ever match. This brings us to why foreign buyers almost never see this incredible network. If you are searching on Alibaba, you are only interacting with the outer shell of this system. You are talking to an English-speaking sales representative from a trading company in a big city. When you ask them if they can scale your order from 500 to 50,000, they say yes, because they know they can tap into this village network. But they are charging you a massive premium for acting as the bridge. The actual family workshops in the villages do not speak English, do not use Western apps, and do not know how to ship products across the ocean. They rely on local sourcing agents and domestic traders to bring them the orders and handle the logistics. If you are an online seller or a growing business, understanding the power of China's elastic supply chain changes how you think about inventory and risk. In the West, companies have to spend millions of dollars storing inventory in warehouses just in case they go viral. But with China's flexible, village-based manufacturing networks, you do not need to hoard inventory. You can test the market with a tiny batch of 100 units, and if the market says yes, you can scale to 100,000 overnight. This elasticity is not just about cheap products. It is about reducing your business risk to almost zero, and that is the true superpower of the Chinese supply chain.